Please welcome back Josephine Decker.
Thank you so much for watching. I thought we could kick off this Q&A by having a group photo together, all of us. So if you want to just manifest the spirit of Shirley Jackson on your faces, whatever that might mean, we're going to take a really large selfie. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Ah! Thanks, guys. That was a dream. That was a dream. Yeah, I'm going to tag all of you on Facebook later. So again, this project was really made possible by an incredible team. So I'd love to bring out all of the wonderful people who are here to work on it, especially our great cast. To bring up first Elizabeth Moss. Oh, yeah, there he is. And then we have all our amazing producers. We have Sue Nagel and Sarah Gubbins, our screenwriter. We have Christine Vachon and David from Killer Films. We have Allison Carter. We have our incredible team at LAMF. We have Jeffrey Soros, Simon Horstman, and Elisa Tager. And we have, our cinematographer, Sterla Groblin. Genius. Amala Baksik, our costume designer, Darren Navarro and David Barker, editors, and Tamar Colley, our composer. Thanks.
Cool. Awesome. Join up. Yeah. So before I open up the audience for questions, I'd love to hear first about screenplay. So it's Sarah. I'd love to hear about kind of discovering the novel and what were the kind of pieces within the novel that kind of gave you the real kind of clear rubric for the script that we saw.
Yes. I mean, well, the idea of meeting Shirley through others' eyes was the basis of the novel, having somebody live in that place with her, in ways that it replicates us as readers of Shirley Jackson's work and as audience members. I found that just a wonderful way to start a script and start the idea of the film.
Cool. Yeah, that's good. Do we have any questions from the audience? Let's open it up. See any? No one yet? Okay. Great. Okay, I'll have a question. Oh, right here, sorry.
Josephine, this is for you. Music and sound is films that I've seen so far. Wondering how early on you started working on sound design and score.
The question is about sound design and score.
Well, actually, it's so funny. I was thinking I forgot to bring up our sound designer, Leslie Schaff, who's also here, total genius. Leslie, wherever you are. I think, especially for a film like this, where so much of it is kind of we're tracking what's going on in Shirley's head. I feel like you want to be inside of her head, and sound is such an important part of that. I often feel like sound, for my films at least, I often feel like sound can tell the story sometimes in a way that the visuals are catching up to. Subjectivity, I think, so often experienced through sound. So but truthfully, working with Leslie was a dream. I mean, he just brought so much creativity and so much an explosion of ideas. And in terms of how early that comes in, I don't really know. I mean, we started we started in a kind of a regular film schedule in some ways. Like our composer Tamar started at the time when composer does start, which is when the movie's locked. And we had some really intense conversations before that about female voices being a really important part of the soundtrack of the film. But I don't know if Tamar and Leslie, if you guys want to speak to the sound a little bit.
I just want to say, When we first talked about the movie, watching the movie, Josephine said, "I want you to go to town." And then when I played her the stuff I did, I said, "I'm not sure I went to the right town, but tell me what you think." She's like, "Oh my God, you should go further." So it's very rare that a director is as courageous as Josephine is with the use of sound and music. And I have the great pleasure of working with Tamar's incredible score, and I think it worked together really well.
In the same spirit, just that push, having free reign to like really go there and just be in a room by myself doing all those crazy vocals was pretty awesome. But there's just so much emotion in the film, and all the performances were so strong that I just was infinitely inspired. So.
Great. More questions? Yeah, in the very back. Yep. Question was for Elizabeth about preparing for the role.
Yeah, it was a lot of reading, a lot of listening to her if I could, a lot of reading letters. Michael actually was extremely helpful in my preparation because he's a true professional and had all of the research and had done a lot of the work for me. So I was able to sort of steal from him, just cheat off of him. Yeah, it was just a lot of kind of reading about her. There's some great work about her, reading her work. She has a lot of herself in her work if you know her at all. And yeah, it was a lot of exploring the relationship with Stanley as well. That was kind of really important to us, I feel, right? Yeah.
Do Michael or Logan, you want to share, did you guys have what sort of research that you went into it, or even just kind of establishing your relationships with the characters and just preparation?
I didn't know anything about Shirley Jackson going into this, and thought it was one thing when we started, and then the next step was realizing it was based on a fiction, the novel, and then we were taking it in a very different direction even from there. So it was like 3 times removed from the original people. That being said, I always feel an obligation to know as much as I can going in. Whether or not it's going to be used is for the experience to decide. So that was a great jumping in place. I got to meet 2 people who actually knew Stanley and Shirley over phone calls and discussions about who the real people were. But really it came down to just us being together, and as Elizabeth said, finding our own way within it, our own unique version of what these people are under these circumstances.
I found so much of her working with you. I could see her when you were Stanley, if that makes any sense, which gave me such a brilliant job of it, as always. But I agree, I found her in you, and I feel like it was that relationship that was really important.
Yeah, so much of my process, it's hard to articulate, it's hard to even talk about it or explain it, it's really personal, but it was a fictionalized character, so I had a lot of wiggle room to do what I wanted, but it's really just about giving yourself the material, following your curiosity, seeing what happens. But the main, reason, I guess, when I first got the material, I was really excited about this, the strength of the writing and the strength of our director, Josephine, who's fantastic, and just a real auteur and one of the bold voices out there right now. Really was excited to work with her and be a part of her process. So a part of it for me was really just committing to Josephine's process, which was new for me. And we did some really wild, fun stuff to kind of open up and break boundaries and feel comfortable with each other. And I really enjoyed that.
Really, what was new, Logan? I'm just curious.
I don't know, maybe crawling on the ground in an office space. Like, I don't even remember what we were doing. Just get to the other side. Just acting exercises, but really just opening up and opening yourself up before rehearsals. It was kind of like it was like loosening yourself up before like a workout or something like that. And they're fun little exercises.
Cool. Over there. Yep. On the other.
So
question is for Josephine. It's the first time she's worked with someone else's script.
Well, thanks for asking that, because I mean, I feel like I got a big gift in that the script was really good, and that Sarah is a total genius, and a true blessing of a human to work with. So I feel like it's so fun when you have a collaborator who quickly becomes a friend, and I think when I was interviewing for the job, I think that I had interviewed for the job, I hadn't gotten it yet, and then Sarah was like, come over and have some soup, and I was like, oh, okay. I was like, is it, what is this gonna be about? And she's like, and then we got there, we had soup, and I
made the soup. I made the soup.
Yeah, you just made the soup, so, and then I remember her saying at the end of that, I feel like, it went well, I think. I got the job. Anyway, but I remember at the end of that, she said, if we can do this, I think we can do a movie. And that was really true. I think it's kind of about having a really deep friendship. And I felt the collaboration was really deep from the start. Like we had so much fun like throwing around ideas, and Sarah was really open to all the ideas I brought. And, we spent about a year really together transforming certain things in the script, and then deepening, I think, the work that there was so much that you'd already laid the foundation for. And then on set, I would say that the one big challenge for me as a director of something that I hadn't written, something that was new, is when I write my own scripts, which make very little sense, I could see everything in my mind before. And so I spent a lot of time with her script trying to visualize it, but then you guys will remember this, like I feel like I really invited and asked you to participate, because it was such a dialogue-driven movie, and I had made mostly movies where people barely speak. And so I really let the actors lead in a lot of ways. We had really great rehearsals. I wanted this to feel really in their bodies and true to them. And so every morning when we would get into these scenes, it was really about like letting them feel the dialogue, feel where is it right in the room to be, do they want to be close to each other, do they want to be far apart, having an exploration on its feet like that so that I could really see the thing that Sarah had seen when she wrote the scene. Although some people got mad at me because I took a little long to do those rehearsals sometimes. But that was also like glorious, because I feel like we got to spend time inside the characters before we had to like roll that camera. But did you want to speak a little more to that?
I mean, I wanted to say that it part of the reason you came over for soup was because I knew that there was just had to be an alchemy between us, and we have different ways of thinking and different ways of seeing, and the hope was that was going to be, the collaboration was going to be advantageous to bringing the best of both kind of ways of approach. And I think that was true on set as well, because you don't have two actors that are more different in the ways that they approach their characters, and yet when they come together in these rooms and in these scenes, it feels like they were always meant to be, And I feel that that's what, without knowing it, what we were looking for,
Awesome. We have time for one more question. I'll go to you on the aisle. The question is about the dynamics between the two women and the girl went missing.
Do you want to speak a little bit to it? No. I just want Lizzie to talk more, really.
For me, I feel like it's such interesting relationships with, I think, all the people in the film, but I do think Rose was this sort of this love, and this sexual love, and also an enemy, and also was real and not real, and she was jealous and also wanted her to succeed and not be like her. It's sort of, we explored all the possible ways that you can have a female relationship, I feel like, with them. That was my interpretation of it.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it, Sarah had written such a great complex relationship in the script. I feel like that mushroom scene really gets at their dynamic. I love I can't see who asked that question. I couldn't, okay, there you are there. That gets at sort of like how you can transform someone in a moment in a way, or open someone's mind, and I think that was sort of at the heart of the film, was this like the dangerous, like potentially poisonous or potentially like edible relationship between these women. And also, with the Paula character, it was so interesting because we had written, we had this great film about a writer, and something that we kind of discovered in editing was that we really wanted to dramatize the writing process more. So we really tried to bring out the Paula character more too in the edit, and I almost would be curious to maybe hear David Barker. Are you on stage yet? Did you want to talk a little bit? He's like, no. He's like, do you want to speak a little bit? Because he brought out Paula so much. Like, he was really, integral to making sure that Paula weaves through the whole film. Do you want to speak to?
Part of it was just because Elizabeth's portrayal of Shirley was, this character had so much power because you didn't know what she was thinking. Right? You didn't know what she was going to do. She was really unpredictable. So we also needed to get into her head in another way, I think, through the writing.
Did you want to speak to that?
No, just to say that I think it was important to see the ways in which this particular writer and Lizzie's performance of that writer draws from life and then kind of spits something out. And in the novel that she's writing, there is a bifurcated female protagonist, and so we just wanted to find a way in which the entire film could hold so many versions of women, I think.
Let's give a final round of applause to the team behind Shirley.